The geopolitical landscape is once again trembling as China unveils a far-reaching foreign policy law, solidifying its position and asserting its might against perceived threats from the West. In a bid to counter what it sees as American efforts to stifle its progress, China has enshrined its right to impose countermeasures in the face of actions it deems jeopardize its sovereignty, security, and development. The timing of this law couldn't be more significant, as tensions between China and the West are at an all-time high, even amidst U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken's recent visit to Beijing in an attempt to stabilize relations. This groundbreaking legislation marks China's first comprehensive foreign policy law and arrives just as Xi Jinping, the country's influential leader, strives to amplify China's power and influence worldwide. However, the increasing ambitions and assertive foreign policy of Beijing have raised concerns among the U.S. and other nations. While China views this law as a means to defend itself against external interference and unilateral sanctions under Western hegemony, the implications of its broad scope and potential repercussions on global relations cannot be ignored. The law grants China the legal authority to take corresponding countermeasures and restrictive measures against acts that violate international law and norms. By doing so, China aims to protect its national interests and combat what it perceives as economic coercion and long-arm jurisdiction from Western powers. It serves as a legal toolbox to safeguard its economic and diplomatic endeavors while countering sanctions and anti-intervention measures imposed by foreign countries. The recent actions of the United States, such as blacklisting Chinese companies, restricting semiconductor exports, and rallying allies against China's economic influence, have further fueled the tensions. China considers these moves as direct attacks on its legitimate rights and interests, pushing back against Washington's perceived containment strategy. In response, China has enacted its own anti-foreign sanctions law and imposed sanctions on U.S. defense firms. While the law doesn't introduce new anti-sanctions tools, it reflects Xi Jinping's foreign policy declaration and his efforts to counter Western containment. By codifying the promotion of Xi's signature foreign policy initiatives, the law solidifies his authority and emphasizes China's opposition to hegemony and power politics. Additionally, the law reinforces the Communist Party's control over international relations, placing decision-making power in the hands of the ruling party and underscoring its dominance in shaping China's foreign policy landscape. China's pledge to promote high-level opening up of its economy, foreign trade development, and protection of foreign investment is also enshrined in the law. However, concerns have been raised by foreign businesses over recent campaigns against consulting and due diligence firms, creating unease in China's business environment. Premier Li Qiang has emphasized this commitment during international summits, seeking to assuage worries about China's reliability as a trade partner and discouraging countries from reducing their reliance on China in certain sectors. As China faces mounting economic challenges and strained relations with the U.S., it has intensified its engagement with Europe to repair fractured relationships caused by its response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Yet, China remains firm in its stance, unwilling to make concessions. Xi Jinping, burdened with domestic troubles, cannot afford to display weakness. Therefore, he employs legal documents like this foreign policy law to showcase his determination to defend China's national interest on all fronts. The law acts as a potent tool for Xi to remind officials to align with his vision and reaffirm China's status as a global power. While it is important to note that predicting the future course of international relations and conflicts is inherently uncertain, we can analyze the factors at play. The strained relations between China and the United States, marked by economic disputes, technological competition, and geopolitical rivalries, create a volatile environment. The implementation of the foreign policy law further underscores China's resolve to protect its interests and respond to perceived threats. However, it also heightens the risk of miscalculations or misunderstandings that could potentially escalate into a military confrontation. Both China and the United States possess significant military capabilities, including advanced weaponry, naval forces, and cyber warfare capabilities. The growing assertiveness of China's military, coupled with its efforts to modernize and expand its military capabilities, has raised concerns in the United States and its allies. This arms race and military posturing increase the potential for an unintended conflict. Disputes over territorial claims in the South China Sea, Taiwan, and other regions are potential flashpoints that could escalate tensions between China and the United States. Any incident or provocation in these areas has the potential to trigger a military response from either side, increasing the risk of a direct confrontation. The United States has a network of alliances and partnerships in the Asia-Pacific region, such as Japan, South Korea, Australia, and others, which serve as a deterrent against Chinese aggression. These alliances also raise the stakes and increase the likelihood of the United States intervening in a conflict involving China. Similarly, China's growing influence and partnerships with other countries could potentially lead to a broader conflict if those alliances are activated. The economic interdependence between China and the United States creates a complex dynamic. While both countries have significant economic interests at stake, trade disputes, sanctions, and economic decoupling efforts have strained economic relations. A severe economic downturn or disruption could exacerbate tensions and increase the risk of conflict. Despite the current tensions, diplomatic channels remain open between China and the United States. Diplomatic engagements, negotiations, and dialogue play a crucial role in managing conflicts and finding peaceful resolutions. The recent visit of U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken to Beijing reflects an ongoing effort to stabilize relations and prevent further escalation. Defense Analysis Weekly is committed to bringing you thought-provoking analysis and insights on the latest developments in defense and international security. To stay updated and never miss an episode, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We value your feedback and ideas, so please leave your comments and suggestions down below. And until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay vigilant.